People say they learn so much from children. I do too. I'm reminded of the bad habits I had as a kid. And I still have some of those habits now. Let little Billy be the name of 1,000 kids I've seen. Consider Billy's attitude toward learning. There are 2 double doors and 2 doorknobs. Billy tries one, it doesn't work. And he says, "This does not work." That's his go-to response. I have no clue, and I give up. Try the other doorknob, Billy. Oh. In class, Billy says he's sure of his answer. Have you checked to make sure, Billy? No. Billy says he doesn't understand the question on the paper. I don't understand the question. Did you read the directions? No. Billy wants to raise his hand, not because he knows the answer, but because he likes the attention. Yes, Billy. Do you have an answer? My dad is good at math. Billy argues with the teacher not because he's right, but because he hates being wrong. You gave me a low score. That's the score you earned, Billy. Billy rushes right to the part of the problem that he knows, and he expects praise for it. He's never interested in understanding the part he doesn't know. I'm finished, but you didn't do this part and this part. It's too hard. Billy likes to change the subject right in the middle of a lesson because focusing and following along is too hard. Did you ever see a dog as big as Clifford? What does that have to do with photosynthesis, Billy? Billy takes a great pleasure in other people making mistakes because that makes them entirely wrong and stupid. Ha ha, you got it wrong. Well, you got it wrong too, Billy. Billy simply refuses to learn things that are not fun, easy, and interesting. Why do I have to learn this stuff? I'm never going to use it. It's like packing to go on a trip, but you don't know where you're going. I can tell you where you're going. I've been there. I can tell you what to pack. These are some bad learning habits that we never entirely grow out of. I include myself in this. You have to hope Billy can learn some good learning habits. So what are good learning habits? It starts with the right attitude. Let's go to the internet. A quick search defines it this way. A child with a positive attitude towards learning shows enthusiasm, curiosity, or engagement when a learning opportunity occurs. Even when they might not be interested in the subject, a child with a positive attitude participates in the learning activity and shows a willingness to try and learn. So here is part 1 of the short answer for parents who want to raise children with a positive attitude toward learning. Have that attitude yourself. Adults model attitudes, whether they know it or not, and whether they know they're being watched or not. And adults can really only model the things that they really do and that they really are. Are they willing to do the hard thing? Are they curious? Do they read? Are they honest? Answer these questions and you'll have a good idea of the attitudes their children will end up with. This isn't to say that parents have to be perfect, just consistent. And likewise for a child, there's no perfect environment, but parents can provide a long-term, secure, consistent, predictable environment. And here's part 2. The adult should consistently model all good habits as early as possible in a child's life. We know that little humans, like little ducklings, are highly impressionable. This is a fact that's not lost on companies who want to inculcate brand loyalty. It's not a fact lost on ideologues who want to inculcate their ideologies. So it shouldn't be a fact that's lost on parents. Because children from, say, 0 to 10 are prone to believe whatever version of reality adults present to them. Nature has made it this way on purpose, and we hope that all the examples that children encounter will be good ones. For a child, so much is new. Curiosity is strong. The curious child gets the reward of the exciting newness of knowledge. Like when a child makes the exciting discovery that flipping a light switch makes the lights go on and off. A child, by virtue of being a child, has so many learning advantages. The unjaded ability to trust being one, and a heightened ability to learn language and remember vocabulary being another. So parents, are you trustworthy? And how's your vocabulary? Vocabulary is the code by which a child apprehends the world. The richer, the better. It's vitally important to cultivate and nurture good qualities while the developmental window is open. It's more than a missed opportunity to not nurture those qualities in a child. It's a tragedy. Because children don't remain obedient little ducklings forever. Growth is a process of individuation, and along with that comes greater autonomy in decision-making and resistance to doing anything they don't feel like doing. And this is where the human tendency to satisfaction with mediocrity comes in. Let's say, like Mary Poppins, you decide that a teaspoon of sugar makes the medicine go down. But then you apply this principle to everything bitter and everything hard. You say, isn't interest the best educator? Shouldn't we make learning interesting, fun, and relevant? Sure. But you can't make everything interesting, fun, and easy. And if you want to rise above the pull of mediocrity, you'll have to cultivate a habit of tackling the boring and hard things in order for children to get at the real prize on the other side of the struggle. Growth is struggle. Too much sugar coating is like sweet cereal. After eating Frosted Flakes and Cocoa Pebbles, you'll never want to go back to plain old Corn Flakes and Rice Krispies again. If we sugarcoat everything, the message is that children don't have to eat anything unless it's sugar-coated. So the task in raising children is to develop a mindset that doesn't settle for mediocrity. We want to push the default position upward, and that may cause some discomfort. This has serious implications for the learning of abstract concepts and everything advanced, from literature, math, science, to you name it. What I'm describing here is a disposition to attempt difficult things. As I used to tell my kids, if you want to get the good thing, you have to do the hard thing. It's a lesson summed up in the Chinese saying that's been around much longer than Mary Poppins. Good medicine tastes bitter. And speaking of Chinese, I've had the very enriching experience over the past 30-odd years of being closely connected to the Chinese world. I've seen the legendary Chinese discipline in action. I've seen children forced to study every waking moment. There's school, and there's school after school, and even school after school. There's lots of bitter medicine and very little sugar coating. This is the Asian mentality in general. And it's why Asians are so highly represented in the hard sciences, in mathematics, engineering, medicine, and so on. So I'm not saying anything new or controversial here. With this mindset, let's call it the traditional education mindset, you don't hear the question, why do I have to learn this stuff, nearly as often. The teacher teaches, the student learns, the parent enforces. Everyone plays their role. In the traditional education mindset, there's an order, a hierarchy, a discipline, and most importantly, a body of knowledge that's treated as something of the highest value. That hard math, that hard vocabulary, all that hard and boring stuff is highly valuable. The Chinese understand the value of hard subjects and the pull to educational mediocrity. And finally, is little Billy, God forbid, in danger of turning from a child into a fool? First of all, I am not talking about IQ. I'm talking about an attitude toward learning. I'm talking about whether a child's formative years have been squandered or not squandered. The difference between a fool and a child is the child knows he doesn't know and he wants to know. The fool doesn't know and doesn't care. And he's grown past the age in which adults can force him to do things that he doesn't feel like doing. So, to get the good thing, you have to do the hard thing. And that's the right attitude to have.